Today's video is brought to you by Very Good. Shop presets, LUTs, gear, and workshops at shopverygood.com. There's a good chance that at this present time, or maybe in the last few months, or maybe in the next few months, you're gonna be in the market for a new camera. And perhaps that's because we always think that like the next camera is the one, the thing that's gonna unlock our photography. It's gonna enhance our journey, make us all that much better. And we start to fantasize that changing the camera is gonna like change everything for us. So what I wanna tell you today is that I think there's something else that we need to change that has a greater impact on our photography journey than changing a camera ever will. And the thing that's gonna play a bigger role in our photography than changing cameras is ever going to is if we change our habits. Specifically, we change our bad habits. So like in all areas of life, photographers can develop bad habits. And in today's video, I want to address 3 bad habits. They're like chronic bad habits, but also tell you 3 things you can do, some good habits to replace the bad habits. And hopefully these will impact you as a photographer because they definitely have impacted me. So bad habit number 1, we're just going to call it consumption. Because consumption is the opposite of creating. And while there's definitely a place in creativity to get inspired, to look at things that inspire us, I think a lot of photographers have a bad habit of going to the wrong places to look for inspiration. I think at best, we can say that social media is neutral. But I think for many photographers, social media is actually like harmful to the creative process. So when we consume things that are trending, we're like trying to chase a photography trend. And there have been like several trends over the last decade. There's trends even right now. But if you're like getting wrapped up in that, you're probably not making anything that's really timeless or important to you. You're just chasing the current trend. So consumption affects vision. It just does. Like if you eat healthy, you are healthy. And if you eat a lot of junk, then you aren't healthy anymore. You are just full of junk. And I think the same thing is true as a creative. If you consume things that aren't necessarily healthy, then you become somebody that is not healthy. I think one of the ways this bad habit manifests itself the most is with comparison. When we are comparing ourselves constantly to what we see on a social media feed, well, that can create a ton of different issues for us, from imposter syndrome to just feeling like we're inadequate, not good enough, don't have access to certain things, don't have the right camera, as we've been saying in this video, it makes you want something that you don't have. Like we can list 100 things that comparison will do on social media, but ultimately, and I'm sure you know this quote, comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison will just steal your joy. So you've got to break the bad habit of consumption, or at least the bad habit of unhealthy consumption. Now, there are places to go to actually get some healthy consumption, to eat healthy and consume things that actually will have a positive role in your creativity. Let me tell you about one of them right now. This is Leica San Francisco, and I was just here for the opening of Brandon Ruffin's gallery. Now, I'll admit, I wasn't always into photo books until the last few years when I needed to break my own bad habit of consuming social media. I know not everyone has access to a place like Leica San Francisco, but you can find photo books online, you can find them at your library, you can even find them at generic bookstores like Barnes & Noble. The point is, replacing the bad habit of going to the trending social media world for what influences your photography should get replaced with things that are timeless and things that challenge you and that maybe you don't even understand. Like I've talked about that before, even on this channel. Like I don't always understand some of the photo books that I see, but therein lies the joy of it all, is like trying to wrap your head around what you are seeing, letting it challenge you, letting it speak to you, and seeing stuff that's gonna be around much longer than that picture on your Instagram feed. And also, I'm putting a link right below to Brandon's new book, Migration Patterns. You can check it out. I'm gonna link it right below. It's not an affiliate link, just a link below. I would encourage you to pick it up and support a fellow photographer. And for me personally, Brandon's book is just one of 3 that I've picked up recently. So I picked up Brandon's book, I also picked up Driving Through Flyover Country. Super stoked about this one. And then this is the weirdest book I've ever had. I'm not even sure how to necessarily pronounce it. Cheryomushki? Anyway, super weird book. I saw an article about this book. I think it came out last year. Super weird book. Like, it's portraits from Siberia in the early 80s, seeing the Soviet in a way you've never seen it. Really wild book. So the bottom line is, the bad habit of consuming unhealthy things has to get replaced with consuming healthy things, things that make us healthy as creatives, as photographers. We need to get off the social media apps and get on to things that are timeless and that would really challenge us and push us to be better and not just be what's trending. Also, I've got a mystery camera in the back today. I'm not really telling you guys what it is right now. We'll talk about it later. But the photos you're seeing, they're shot on this mystery camera. Not my usual Leica setup or my Hasselblad. Mystery camera today. Got to get this classic shot here with this camera, this mystery camera. Like, if you don't get this shot, do you even San Francisco? That might be one of the most common shots of the bridge, which leads me to our second bad habit, and that is only chasing the bangers. Because of social media, when people go typically anywhere in the world that has a cool spot, that spot's already like been shot a bunch, and it's really tempting to want to journey and do the same thing. And as I said in a recent video, I'll link it right above, there's nothing wrong with getting that shot. But the mentality, the bad habit comes whenever you are like honed in on the photo rather than like a body of photos, a body of work. If I was to go back and reference photo books again, you're looking at like a project, a body of work, not just like one shot, but you're looking at like a collection, a story of images. Focusing on like the shot or like a series of bangers, it's truly just a bad habit that has like been pushed into photographers, especially over the last decade because of apps like Instagram. So if the bad habit is like trying to get the shot, the good habit is to build a body of work. And even that language, like body of work, almost sounds big, like it should be your whole life. And like, you know, your body of work represents all the images that you have on your deathbed. And that's not what I'm talking about. I think a body of work can be as simple as like a single day out and you collect a set of images that actually represent the story of that day out. You can do this in a city, you can do it out in nature, you can do it like in a portrait session, you can really do it anywhere. But when the focus becomes less about like the banger and more about a series, think about the good habits that come with that. It's like learning how to cull your photos down to what was the most important, or rather, let me say it like this. You can cull your photos down to what represents the story you want to tell, which also requires some vision for the story you want to tell. So vision, culling, and then sequencing, like picking out the order in which your photos present that story. And then cohesion, which is like, you know, making that story make sense from start to finish. Like, I'm sure you get the point that I'm making. I just listed several skills that come with building a body of work versus the lack of skill required to just go get a photo of a banger. Storytelling, I think, is one of the lost art forms in photography. And I do a workshop on storytelling and building a body of work every year. It'll be this fall. It's in Grand Teton National Park, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I've got a QR code right here. You can just scan if you're watching on TV and check out that information. There's also a link right down below where you can get information on that workshop. And then there's another one that's different. All of that is right below on the workshop page at Very Good. One of the weeks is almost completely full. The other week still has several spots. Be sure to check it out. And if you have any questions, drop a comment below and let me know, or just reach out over a DM. Ultimately, the single image is easy. but there's a ton of skill and good habits that come with building a body of work. So breaking the bad habit of banger chasing and replacing it with building a body of work is only going to improve your photography and just make you a better creative. You guys probably can't tell, but like right here is that lighthouse I tried to get to in this video. I'm linking it above. What a disappointment. Look at that. At what point in your life do you start taking photos of birds and like are actually happy with taking photos of birds? Because like if I take photos of birds right now, I'm not happy. I'm like disappointed in myself that I actually did that thing. Maybe it feels different when birds are part of the landscape. Maybe. Yeah, that water is getting a little too close for comfort. Let's get out of here. So we've talked about being mindful of what we consume, and we've also talked about the importance of building a body of work rather than just like banger chasing. There's one more bad habit that I feel like might have the most impact on your photography. The third and final habit might be the most practical, and that bad habit is believing that your style comes from your edit. The most common phrase that goes along with that is fix it in post. So let's take a minute and define what photography style is. Because the bad habit is believing that it happens in the edit, but style is a mix of a lot of things. It includes things like the subject matter in which you shoot. In fact, I would actually say the subject matter and how you compose that subject are the two biggest factors in determining what your photography style is. Your style is also determined by factors like the type of light you shoot in, the focal lengths you like to use. I mean, like there are a lot of things that go into style before we even get to the post-processing where we're going to edit it. And yeah, like color or lack of color, like monochrome, all of those things play a role in your style, but that is not where your style comes from. Yet I think there's a bad habit of thinking that a preset or a type of edit or cropping always with, a certain type of crop is going to define your style. Like a really good way to illustrate this was how back in like 2018, 2019, a ton of photographers mostly just shot vertical. I've seen so many people talk about this, and even I was guilty of it. We always shot vertical because we were anticipating putting that image on social media. So the crop was dictating what we were going to do. What was happening in post was dictating what was going in. I think you get the point here, but like all of these are just really bad habits. I used to be really involved in music production and studio work, and there's always this mentality of like, if garbage goes in, garbage comes out. Like no amount of auto-tune will make someone that doesn't sing sound good, and no amount of EQ or compression is going to make a bad guitar sound good. You get what I'm saying? Like what goes in truly is what's going to come out. Like fixing it in post is a myth. It's really not a reality. And if we bring that over to photography, your best shot comes when you hit the shutter. Like getting it right in camera and having to make minimal adjustments to your composition, your crop, your white balance, your amount of contrast, like all of those things play a huge role in the outcome of that image. And this isn't like a slight at presets. I mean, I make my livelihood off of selling presets at Shop Very Good. But what I'm saying is that like buying a preset and just slapping it on every photo you take is not going to make you have any type of style. It's just going to give you a consistent color palette. But color palette is like the last 10% of style. So the bad habit then is focusing too much on what's coming out on the other side. And the better habit, the good habit, is focusing on what's actually coming through your lens and hitting your film or your sensor, and focusing more time and effort on the front end of photography and less time on the back end. So if you're in the market for a new camera or new lenses or any type of new gear because you think it's going to like fix something about your photography, your journey, it's going to inspire you, like I'm not saying that any of that stuff is like not actually going to happen if you get a new camera. However, I am saying that before you change your camera, really evaluate your habits, because I think changing the habits might actually play a bigger role in your photography than changing the camera is going to. Now, I mentioned that all the photos you've seen today were shot on a mystery camera, not the one I usually use, which is this Leica M11P. I did not take this camera out. None of the photos you are seeing are actually a camera that I have used in a long time. All of the photos from today came from the very first digital camera that I ever had. This camera is a Nikon D50 from 2005. Every photo you saw today was shot on this Nikon. This is a 6 megapixel camera with very limited dynamic range, and it has the kit lens with it, which is I believe an 18 to 200. 18 to 200. Okay, I gotta be honest, I'm not really sure what the f-stop is. Maybe 2.8 to 5.6, I don't know. It's whatever the kit lens was back in 2005. Every photo you saw today came from this. But if you were to put the photos out of this camera against like recent galleries that I've done or recent collections of photos that I've made, you're going to see some consistency, because the camera doesn't really matter that much. Like, I mean, do I want to walk around with this for the rest of my days? No, I don't. I'd much rather use my Leica or my Hasselblad or any of my film cameras. It was kind of fun to revisit the past. This is not the one that I had in 2005. I just rebought it from a guy on Facebook Marketplace for $60. Literally just for this video. I thought it'd be fun to find the OG digital camera that I had and see what could happen with it. And I think that right there, just even like looking at the shots that I got, almost just like proved the point that the camera doesn't matter as much as you matter, your habits, hopefully your good habits. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you found it helpful, be sure to give it a like. If you are not a subscriber, be sure to get subscribed. And check out all of the links below. I've got that QR code back up right here for you. You can scan that if you're watching on a TV. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.